The story of Jesus is one of the most famous in history. But there's another part to the story, one that offers new insights into the life and mission of Jesus. This is the incredible tale of the people who would risk everything in their devotion to Jesus, who would play a critical part in the rise of Christianity. This is the story of Jesus' family. For the first time, we will be tracing the many relatives who helped shape Jesus' life, from childhood to crucifixion.
He's real.
Investigating this hidden history will be one of the most respected genealogists in America, Tony Burrows. He will travel across 3 continents, piecing together the evidence, from Judea to forensic laboratories in Europe. He will uncover a story that sheds a very different light on one of the most famous figures of history. From childhood to enlightenment. And ultimately to death and resurrection. What Tony discovers will revolutionize our understanding of Jesus forever. It's the most famous story in history, the life of Jesus. But one part has lain hidden for thousands of years. The story of his family. Genealogist Tony Burrows is on a quest to uncover exactly who Jesus' relatives were. He's found clues buried in forgotten sources and spoken to experts who reveal some extraordinary possibilities.
Now we see more that there were family members, there are brothers, there is at least one sister.
There were step-siblings, there were rivalries, there were arguments, people didn't get along.
Traditionally, Jesus has been seen as a man acting alone. But his relatives may have been a powerful force in his mission. His siblings, his mother, were they present at some of the most important moments of Jesus' life? What role did the family of Jesus play in supporting his mission in life? And perpetuating his memory after his death.
Something is going on that is going to change the world.
In more ways than one, Christianity may owe its greatest debt to the real family of Jesus.
Melvin and I both are recovered alcoholics and addicts.
I drank, I drug, I was in blackouts for 4 years.
PCP, cocaine, marijuana.
At my bottom, I began smoking crack cocaine.
Based on our experiences, we started a recovery house called Hope House in an effort to help other people recovering from substance abuse.
If I told you the story of this time in a while, it's always darkest before dawn. And it was about as dark as it could get. Cocaine's been my downfall.
Cocaine was my drug of choice, but I've used heroin, methamphetamines, acid, LSD, shot dope, I've smoked it, I've done everything you can think of.
Once I took that first hit of crack, it was over.
There has been a few times where I've just wanted to give up.
I'm going through a very hard time right now.
You're setting yourself up for relapse.
I'm scared to death.
They said you were drinking Listerine?
Yeah. But I'm not dead yet.
I'll shoot cocaine and heroin. I never in my life thought I would stop.
Something's gotta stop. We about to kill each other.
I feel it too.
You feel guilty for all these things you did?
No, I don't.
Good.
My son Maurice is a real tender subject in my life.
You're making me work here.
Very difficult to work the steps by yourself.
How do you say your way is the best way?
Everybody's not going to do it. Some people are going to die, and we're well aware of that.
I am so sick and tired of watching people die.
Recovery is not for people that need it. Recovery is for people that want it.
The need for speed has turned into a cultural phenomenon, encompassing everything from the gritty illegal street races to the glitzy $130 million industry of flashy cars, fashion, music, and style. Two competitive racers from different parts of the scene hook up with the best tuners in the industry. This is the fast and fearless story of their meager machines transformed into high-speed street rockets.
Just let the car go and fly.
Once I get behind that wheel, it's like, "Argh."
In the end, they'll square off at the drag strip to answer the only question that matters to a racer. Whose car is faster?
Across the country and around the world, there are people who live life just like everybody else. This is not their story. This is a story of one person who has chosen to live life on her own terms.
Well, it kind of is my life.
Make up her own rules.
When you guys get up there, if I don't see this, I'm going to be pissed.
And follow her own dreams. You are about to step into the world of Suzanne Fetting, a woman who defines her life in part by producing fashion shows and racing her 600cc pink sport bike motorcycle. Along the way, we'll meet British Columbia's own outlaw custom bike painters, ride with some of the fastest women on two wheels, and experience the ups and downs of not following a set path, but instead blazing an unknown trail. Sometimes pretty, sometimes not, but love it or hate it, this is the true story of one person, told through her eyes.
What would you do if you had $3,000, 72 hours, and the chance to live life now? I'm Phil Kogan, and this is No Opportunity Wasted. This week, the story of two dreamers who put it all on the line. In Los Angeles, a female model wants to lay her body bare before an entirely different audience.
I can't tell you how many times I've asked myself the question, why are you not doing what you absolutely love to do? Now it's really time to kick all that crap to the curb and just do it and enjoy myself.
Marisa Gomez dreams of visiting a world of glitter, comedy, and striptease that began before most of us were born. It's called burlesque.
So let me tell you what I had in mind for the show. I can get girls with big boobies. Excuse me? I can get girls with little boobies.
I don't think that's a really good idea.
So, you gotta pick my dream, make my dreams come true, and you won't be sorry.
She can't help herself.
While Marisa recreates the past, JJ Russo fights for a new future.
I was drinking a lot of alcohol, and I was not fit to be a mother at the time.
JJ is a small-town DJ who wants to get her voice on a Big Apple radio station and leave her troubles behind.
That is a scary and fearful thing to take on, is being on my own and trying to make my way to the top.
We gave JJ the DJ and Marisa the would-be burlesque queen just $3,000 and 72 hours each to do their dreams. No Opportunity Wasted is about living each day as if it were your last. a philosophy that I came up with after nearly drowning in a shipwreck. Thousands of viewers have applied to live their life to the fullest on national television. For those I selected, I've cleared their schedule and will help them seize the opportunity to live life now. You're about to meet a woman who wants to bear it all. Her dream, put on her own burlesque show with music, comedy, costumes, and of course, dancing girls.
My lifestyle here in Los Angeles definitely is a crazy one. I'm just a girl trying to make a living.
All her life, Marisa has craved the spotlight. With flamenco dancers as parents, it's in her blood. And nothing makes her blood boil hotter than a spectacle called burlesque.
I told my mom I want to be a dancer, and she said that kind of dancing doesn't exist anymore, Marisa.
Starting in the roaring 20s, burlesque overflowed with rank humor and risque women. Enter 35-year-old Marisa, her dream to unleash her alter ego, Maybelline Maxwell, in a vintage Hollywood theater surrounded by comic acts and burlesque buddies. Over the next 72 hours, we'll see if she can get it all together before she takes it all off. Join me for No Opportunity Wasted.
It is an elusive but ever-present threat to anyone, anywhere who ventures beyond the familiar.
Being lost is a state of mind. You look around and any direction is as good as another.
In the wilderness, it is very easy to get lost. And once lost, it is even easier to die.
There's a high death rate of lost hikers out there who do not get found. They find them next spring.
This is the story of 4 strangers lost in the dense woods of Nova Scotia. They have no food, no water, no idea how to get out. With no gear and no survival skills, they have only each other to get through this ordeal alive. They call Nova Scotia the land of the lost. This island of dramatic landscapes off Canada's southeastern coast. Here, rugged coastline surrounds vast expanses of forest so thick that daylight often can't cut through the tree canopy. Once upon a time, people got lost in this terrain more than any other place in North America. Children wandering too far into their woodsy backyards. Hunters disoriented after chasing game. Hikers turned around on a trail loop.
For a lost person, almost invariably, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to them. They honestly believe that they're not going to survive the situation. They believe that they're going to die.
The characters, the circumstances, and the outcome of each account differ. But they all begin the same. A foray into the woods that turns terribly wrong. What happens in our heads when we become disoriented? What instincts do we humans have, if any, that can put us back on track? And what knowledge do we have that can get us out of the woods alive? In this program, we put 4 willing volunteers to the test as they experience what it's like to be lost and survive in the wild.
It is a rare and spectacular art form. Danger is its calling card.
One little mistake can be your last mistake.
Daring is its character.
A wire walker's worst enemy is probably fear.
Balance is its requirement. And gravity, its friend or foe.
must have a little bit luck. When you got not luck, you can fall everywhere.
Few breathe the air up here. Welcome to the world of extreme aerialists. Who are these bold skywalkers?
Crazy. They are crazy people. They are crazy. Let's face it.
Crazy or not, these are inspired daredevils who captivate us at breathtaking heights, risking certain death. To dance on air.
Next, 4 urban explorers venture back in time to uncover the lost ruins of Buffalo, New York. Across the nation, the relics of America's past lie abandoned and forgotten. Factories, theaters, missile silos. This is the realm the homeless call home. A netherworld of rats and toxic waste. And these are the chronicles of the Forbidden Zone expeditions. A series of inner treks to find and explore America's lost archaeological wonders and bring them back to life. This week's chosen city is the birthplace of hot wings, a home where buffalo never really roamed at all. Buffalo, New York. The Queen City of the Great Lakes once had more millionaires per capita than any other place in America. Today, emerging from the grips of a 50-year decline, Buffalo is an urban explorer's dream. Site 1, the abandoned Central Terminal. During World War II, thousands of combat-bound GIs passed through this huge train station. Many grabbed a good luck clump off a shaggy city mascot rumored still hidden somewhere inside. Site 2, the boarded-up Church of the Transfiguration. Are its precious church bells still hanging in the tower? If our urban explorers can find them, it might help save this historic church from the wrecking ball. Site 3, Concrete Central, the biggest of Buffalo's abandoned grain elevators, where the team will find out just what breakfast cereal and teenage lust have in common. For the urban exploration team, Buffalo's time capsules conceal priceless artifacts, each with a story to reveal. This week's urban explorers are Bryce Tupper, structural engineer; Steve Duncan, urban historian; and world-class climbers Brittany Griffith and Timmy O'Neill. Stick with them and venture into hidden corners of the city that even the locals don't know exist. Next, 4 urban explorers venture back in time to uncover the lost ruins of the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois.
Open access door.
Go, 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 go.
This week's destination is the birthplace of the gangster speakeasy, the home of monster steaks and the cradle of modern jazz, Chicago, Illinois. No longer the second city, Chicago is now a world-class destination. But success has a price, and that means that many grand structures that made this place great are not long for the modern world. Site 1. The secret network of freight tunnels buried beneath downtown Chicago. If our team can find their way through this lost world, they might learn what the Great Chicago Fire had to do with the birth of the modern skyscraper. Site 2, Al Capone's hidden speakeasy. This gangster hideout, where the women were easy and the whiskey flowed like water, is rumored hidden right beneath one of Chicago's favorite night spots. Site 3, the Uptown Theater. Stars from the Astors to the Grateful Dead made it world famous. Now it stands completely abandoned. Legend has it that somewhere inside lies a master safe, unopened and forgotten. For our urban explorers, Chicago's time capsules conceal priceless artifacts, each with a secret to reveal.
This is the original tunnels?
Yes.
Gonna go deep?
Next, 4 urban explorers venture back in time to uncover the lost ruins of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Come on, go, 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 go.
This week's city, the home of beer, brats, bowling, and America's industrial greats, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Site 1, the abandoned Pabst Brewery, where our team uncovers the artifacts of America's original breakfast drink, beer. Site 2, the forgotten Solvay Coke plant. Not Coke the soft drink, Coke the coal byproduct used to make the steel that helped win World War II. And of course, you can't visit Milwaukee without having some fun. And fun in this city means bowling. Site 3, Regent Lanes, completely forgotten and off the grid, until now. If the team can make it into this abandoned bowling alley, they might discover why Milwaukee's favorite pastime used to be considered a criminal act. For our explorers, Milwaukee's time capsules conceal priceless artifacts, each with a story to reveal.
In the quest for gorgeous curves, a chiseled physique, or a face fit for a magazine cover, millions of people head to the operating room with great expectations. But for some, choosing to go under the knife can yield disfiguring, disastrous, and even fatal results. When it comes to cosmetic surgery, buyer beware.
We think of it as a sanctum of healing, a refuge for saving lives. But all too often, the operating room is a chamber of incalculable danger. Over the next hour, we'll meet the unsuspecting patients who've lost everything from their dreams to their lives and limbs as the result of a nightmare under the knife. It's the frightening world of medical mishaps, next on Danger in the OR.
Everyone's face looks different. It's just mine just takes it to a whole new level.
Hallie, Paul, and Adam all have neurofibromatosis, a genetic condition that has changed their faces.
No, I didn't just get my wisdom teeth out. I look like this every day. No one punched me in the jaw today. I look like this every day.
They've reached a turning point and are facing tough decisions as they cope with looking different.
Yeah, I'm worried about waking up and being in pain, but it's better than sort of being alone for like 30 years or something, isn't it?
How do these three young adults help the world see beyond their face to the person beneath?
My life a challenge, and this is it.
When a child is born looking different, it means a different life for the whole family.
My thoughts on life changed when I had Hayley. I realised that you are sometimes dealt a card that you weren't expecting, and it's what you do with it.
Three families, all dealing with a life different than what they imagined.
I never saw them as any sort of curse or problem or anything. I was just delighted they were here. I don't really care if there was something wrong with them as long as I could fix it.
But can medicine help lessen the harsh realities of being different?
The thing that runs society is how you look, and if you don't look right, your life is absolutely buggered.
The human body is capable of amazing achievements, but every body has its limit. When the line gets crossed, mental strength and medical science kick in. Craig DiMartino, Matt Hoffman, and Lindsay Thomas found themselves beyond the breaking point. And as time began to run out, quick diagnosis and surgical insight ransomed back their lives. Their stories demonstrate how sudden catastrophe can tip life's shaky balance, and how sheer will and skilled medicine can set it right again. The human body, it's incredibly fragile, yet astonishingly resilient. But sometimes it needs help from trained physicians or compassionate strangers. Jack Roush, Ben Young, and Travis Pastrana endured traumatic injury and intensive surgery. Each man came close to death, but beat the odds and made a miraculous recovery. Their stories demonstrate the remarkable restorative powers our bodies possess, and the strange turn of events that cause accidents and that help us survive them.
My question was, well, how safe is it? And the person I was interviewing with said, well, it's probably much safer than any hospital you've ever worked in because we know who the bad guys are. You know, and we keep an eye on them. Mr. Slover, what's going on, man?
I can't breathe again.
Okay. We're going to put a mask on you, man. It's going to give you 100% oxygen, okay?
They've done horrible things, but we have to care for them.
Amen.
They're our clients, and we have to give them medical treatment as safely and as efficient as possible.
Tuttle, how you doing?
No one, said, come on into prison and stay for a while. It's my bag, it's not theirs. At the same time, I'm a human being. And I made a mistake, and I don't say that I didn't make a mistake. I definitely committed thefts. But I have to be accorded humane treatment. And just because we're here doesn't make us any less human.
We don't have a choice.
The courts have mandated and ordered that this community standard of care has got to be provided. The taxpayer is footing the bill for this medical care. It seems like the tables have turned. Citizens in the community are unable to afford medical coverage, but yet it's provided for our inmates.
Good, line 7, please.
I had dental work done before, but I've never gotten a physical. This would be my first time having a physical. I was just expecting to go to prison and rot in prison for a couple years, man. It's the best you can get, and it's free, so don't have to pay for it.
Listen to your lungs and then listen.
At the Colorado Department of Corrections, we watched prison doctors at work. You can decide whether you think criminals deserve the attention. The subject is the job itself and the unusual doctor-patient relationship between inmates and the men and women who have devoted their lives to giving bad guys good care.
Your freedom is over, I'm sure that you know. You're here for a long, long time, but you're gonna get well before you go. This is my infirmary, and now you're mine. Come on in, sit where you please. Give me a chance to heal your disease. Don't fight back, you're in a squeeze. Like it or not, I'll heal your disease. Like it or not, I'll heal your disease.
Over 2 million men and women are housed in American prisons, shut off from the pursuits and comforts of freedom. But for many, incarceration has also brought an unlikely payoff, an opportunity for romance, marriage, and even true love.
Getting married in prison was not always my idea of a dream wedding. I always wanted to go all out with the bridesmaids and the groomsmen.
I am living the most important part of my life in a cell block.
Having a wife in prison is a very expensive hobby.
He offers me stability, and he can help me readjust to society.
She is always, and will be, a threat to people.
Our life is structured around him. You know, it's hard for us to have fun knowing he's here.
They are relationships that play out in starkly lit visiting rooms and under the watchful eyes of prison guards. And the free men and women who become involved with inmates pay a steep price. Why are they compelled to seek such difficult and demanding relationships? How do they prevail against the odds? They are romances not for the faint of heart. They are the stories of love behind bars.
In the remote hills of southwest China, these coffins clinging perilously to cliffs contain the key to the mysterious tribe known as the Bo people, annihilated in a bloody massacre 400 years ago. Who were the Bo? Why did they hang their dead on cliffs, and how did they do it? Is it because, as legend tells us, they could fly? Now a scientific journey is underway to solve an archaeological mystery, to separate fact from legend, and to uncover the secrets and perhaps the very face of the Bo people.
I was born in Ethiopia, and I came to the States when I was 3 years old and grew up here. I've had the best of both worlds, of the Ethiopian culture and American culture.
I was actually born in the United States, and I stayed here until I was 5 years old. And then I went back to Trinidad, basically, I guess my father wanted me to be educated down there. After that, I came back, and I went to college at the University of Maryland.
This is where it all began.
Yep, 8 years ago. 8 years, 6 months.
Yeah.
Right through these doors.
No, we weren't right here.
We weren't? Where were we?
We were down there on the lower level. Remember, Hapsa introduced us.
My best friend, Hapte, who tried to get me to join the African students, I would never join. And the day that I found that Wayne was an African Students Association, I joined automatically.
When I met Kyle, we hit it off first as friends.
I think with me, when we first met, there was also a romantic interest.
Him and all of his buddies and my close friend Laura at the time used to hang out at the student union. Oh my gosh.
They changed the whole thing.
This is terrible. It's in drywall.
This is our spot.
I can't believe this is gone. It's gone. It's alive only in our memory. We were all traveling in the same circles and becoming closer and closer, almost like family, because we spent so much time together.
We would talk for hours over the phone or wherever we hung out.
Our relationship grew and grew, and right close to when I was ready to graduate and after he had graduated, we thought about taking that next step to having a romantic relationship.
She said she approached me, but she really didn't approach me that way because she just broke up, and I was actually in a relationship.
I was thinking about my future and what do I want and what kind of life do I want to live, what kind of person does God want me to be, and Kyle just had popped into my head.
There was something there that I sensed, just an interest, not anything more than that.
It was like we were both waiting for it, and then when it just happened, we just kind of, fell right into it.
We're Michael and Tanya. We're in San Diego at the airport, and we're here to meet our sister Erica Stallworth for the very first time. We're so excited.
When Erica Stallworth was a college student, she found out she was adopted. Though she was raised in a wonderful family, she yearned to know her biological mother. She searched and eventually found her birth mother, Patricia, who had passed away. But all was not lost. To her surprise, Erica discovered that she was a big sister to Tanya Haney and Michael Porter. Today, after more than 30 years of separation, Erica will come together with her long-lost siblings, Tanya and Michael, in San Diego, California.